that. Right. Bosh. The other day I did something a bit strange for me. I went to a talk done by a lady who is a homeopathic practitioner, but she'll correct me with the right term in a second. So in that, I learnt about different plants, different things that help you that are not pills. They are natural remedies. And then I realised that the lady giving the talk knew more about other things too. So this show will spiral off anywhere it wants to go. But what we're really here is to look at remedies. Natural remedies, aren't we, Josie?
We are. Thank you for inviting me to.
Oh, mate, I'm very happy that you're here. Lee is on my right, Josie's on my left. I want to start, right? So homeopathy, for anyone who doesn't know, is a real deal, right? You have to learn, and you have to... you mentioned it was 2003 and I was in supervision or something. So you have supervision. Now, supervision, for anyone who doesn't know, if you're like a psychotherapist... or if you're a young doctor, you have to go into supervision, which is where you go and tell your line manager or the person above you what's happening and how it goes. Yeah. So homeopathy is, it's
a complete medical system.
Yeah.
And you have to have qualifications. You have to have a license to practice.
Right.
And in that first year, they give you a supervisor. So when you're let loose on the public,
who's they?
The governing body.
Right, who is the governing body?
The Society of Homeopaths.
Okay, well that was very easy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Society of Homeopaths.
Or their just stipulation is when you qualify to keep your licence to practice for that first term, it's advisable. I don't know if it's law or what, but it's advisable to have a supervisor. So when we get our qualifications, they give you a supervisor who will oversee your clinical practice hours.
Right. So this is no fly-by-night flipping...
No, it's not.
Because everyone... Right, we talked about this the other day. Everyone thinks it's a bit woo-woo, as you said, which, a bit hippie, a bit dippy. It's not. You've got to learn stuff, right? There's so many things.
We probably learn more about pathology, like hours. We have more clinical hours studying pathology than our conventional doctors do now.
Mm. What, looking for reasons?
Reasons why we
die.
Become ill.
Oh, okay.
And recognising dis-ease in the body.
Right.
And causations and things.
Now, before there were doctors in a medical type way now, there were homeopaths, right? Homeopathy was huge.
It's massive.
Victorian back.
Yeah.
So, why has it fallen out of favour?
I don't think it's out of favour. I just think it's a little bit outshadowed by the modern day medicine, the conventional medicine that's now people turn to. Is that an epiphany?
My phone won't do that. It's turned off.
It's on silent.
Well, it can't be, can it?
Unbelievable. Okay, sorry about that.
So traditional medicine, as we know, it's only really been around since the early 1900s.
Yeah.
And it was developed by the Rockefellers. And basically, if you do your research, it's a spin-off from the oil industry, who they're also heavily involved in.
Yeah, petrochemicals leading to medicine.
Making money.
About making money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, right, so you've been practising since 2002.
Yeah, I got my licence to practice in 2002, and then I got my health science degree in 2003.
Okay. So what I'm trying to lay on here is that qualifications are the key. This isn't just pick up a book of herbs and go and run with it.
No, but
which is amazing.
But the beautiful thing about homeopathy is that you can be a home prescriber for your own family.
Right.
All you need is a little bit of knowledge, some really good books, and people to practice on, and anyone can really help their families and friends at home.
Okay.
For your own personal use, yeah. So
you have to know what you're talking about, though. I mean, you don't want to be taking the wrong.
You want
thing.
to if you're doing it from home for yourself and your family, it's really just for your acute illnesses.
Right.
So things that can go wrong around the house, like bad burns, upset tummies, headaches, coughs, colds, fevers, things like that.
So, chronic.
Yeah. It's deep-seated illness.
What's the other one?
Acute.
Acute. So which one? So homeopathy is better for treating Which type?
Both.
So both.
It's effective in both. It's a complete medical system. So from anything from fevers in babies, pregnancy, really safe medical practices with pregnant women. Excuse me. Your coughs, colds, stomach upsets, all your acute illnesses which have a beginning, a middle and an end.
That's what acute illness means.
That's basically what
chronic
acute
is long term.
Yeah, and chronic is something that's, your body's really clever. It's 40,000 trillion cells, work permanently,
Right.
never sleep.
No.
We don't give our bodies enough
Credit.
love and credit for
Yeah.
what it actually does. It's an amazing tool.
Right.
And it constantly keeps you in balance. And then through hard knocks of life or toxicity, and that could be relationships or it could be toxic in the air, the water, our food. If you're not looking after yourself, your body can do that for a while, but after a while,
It's gonna
things
kick
start,
off.
inflammation, which is often a big trigger, stress.
Mm.
And emotional shock and hurt and trauma, it can stay in the body.
Right.
So unless that's, and we can get over those things. But when you've got an inability to change, which I think is what the key is here, to be well, if you're an adaptable person and you can flow, you can often take things that happen to you, think, okay, I'll deal with that and I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're able to change. Whereas if you're not able to change very well, you've got high expectations and you get upset if things don't go your way. It can, it jars you.
Yeah.
We've all been there, haven't we?
So if you're adaptable,
So if you're quite an adaptable person and upbeat and positive, very rarely those type of people get sick.
I wouldn't know. I'm not that type of person.
Okay. I'm not saying it will lead to illness, but often it's that things
Yeah,
can,
no,
you
you're
know,
absolutely-
defeat
We're
the things.
naturally negative, aren't we? Humans are, well,
Or are we naturally negative, or is
maybe
it
we're not
society?
naturally, but societally
We
we
programmed
down.
to become
we
negative.
become negative. Yeah,
Because
every-
it's designed to keep us in fear and anxiety.
That's what we said this morning, right? It started raining this morning.
Yeah,
And there were people going, oh, I can't believe it's raining.
But
Despite
the sun's
facts.
coming out later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's exactly the attitude you need to take, isn't it?
Okay, so, right, so,
So the chronic illness is what you were talking about, wasn't
Yeah.
it? So it's a progression. So unless you address, someone described life to me a bit like an old LP. You remember the old Shona vinyls, right?
yeah,
It's you're the story on the record, yeah, and you playing beautifully,
yeah,
and then something happens and it causes like a little nick
yeah,
in the album, and then that stylus just keeps repeating.
worry.
Repeating and repeat because you can't move on.
yeah.
You just stay.
You're stuck until you find that
Yeah.
exit.
And then what the remedies do, they work with your body's
Yeah.
ability to heal itself. It's a catalyst to heal.
A support catalyst.
Yeah, as opposed to doing the work of the body.
Right.
So it literally, all it does is gets the stylus and gives it a little ping, and you pop over that, whatever it was,
Yeah.
and you carry on.
Okay, and you start
Singing
playing
your
your
song.
story again.
Yeah.
Singing your song. I like that. Okay, so if you're in a situation where you're feeling down, you're feeling sick, you're feeling ill,
Yeah.
how do you diagnose what's going on for normal people? Do you just recognise symptoms? Is there,
Yeah, so
does it
the
work?
symptoms are the key.
yeah,
Conventional medicine. I'm not saying there's not a place for all medicine. I think
No.
it's really powerful. Like conventional medicine, what they do in A&E and surgically is just off the scale now. It's amazing.
yeah,
But when it comes to your long-term health, when you start to develop symptoms, they are the key to showing you that something's not working well in the body.
yeah,
It doesn't mean it's a disease. It's just how your body's expressing that imbalance.
right,
And say all three of us might be diagnosed with, I don't know, say what, arthritis.
yeah.
We might not necessarily all get the same remedy because you're really dealing with the person and how that imbalance in that body is expressing itself.
Okay, so that's where holistic comes in.
You're
Right,
treating
so-
mental, emotional and physical symptoms.
Okay, so anyone who doesn't know, holistic treatment is looking at the whole thing in one person. So it's a singular treatment. So you see, this is where, pharma companies, pharmacology, the whole pills, they provide medicines, but
Yeah.
they don't want to cure you, because if they cure you, You stop taking the
You won't come
medicine.
back.
It's
Yeah.
a perfect business concept.
And as the Rockefellers started it, you can understand that business leads to that.
So now that's what people want instantly. I want a pill. That's
Yeah.
what society.
And we're
makes
also,
you want, doesn't it?
if you notice, it's got even worse the last few years, isn't it? Like we used to all sit down and read books and spend time. Now we just want a quick fix.
Yep.
You know, like to say, like they've got a new one out, haven't they? I haven't really read much on it, but isn't there one for like losing weight?
Oh, well, there'll be one for
So
everything.
so it doesn't encourage you to actually address eating healthy and exercising and looking after yourself to become a fitter, healthier person. People knowing that they can go to the doctor and get a magic pill,
Which is usually
which is
speed.
a quick. Yeah, I used to take slimming tablets in the 80s. It's
Well,
awful.
I used to take slimming tablets in the 80s in the little pouches that was all cut up into powder. Pink champagne, that was
Is that
great.
the dancing?
Oh,
Your dancing?
I don't know
gear,
what I was
it?
doing. Yeah, drugs, marvellous. Okay, so this, like, you know, you've got things like aconite, you've got arnica, you've got cocculus indicus, right? Indian cockle, I like that for obvious reasons.
Cockles.
Yeah, and then is it arginate? Right,
Arginate,
silver
which
nitrate.
is silver. Yeah.
Right, so where did these things come? I mean, arnica is the only one I've ever heard of
Yeah.
in this, because obviously that's for cream,
Bruises.
rash cream and all that.
Yeah.
Bruises.
Bruises.
It's the bump remedy, is
Bump
what they call
remedy.
it. But it's a head changer.
Okay,
Game
so-
changer.
What's leopard's bane? Where
It's a
arnica
plant.
comes from? It's a plant.
Yeah.
Are all these plant based?
They're all substances, so they could be animal, mineral, vegetable, plant.
Right, but
Based.
natural is the key.
All
Nothing
natural,
is
yeah.
is manufactured.
And one of the reasons why you go that original question about how come it's not as, because you can't make money, you can't patent a natural substance,
Right.
so there's no money to be made.
Is there like you know, the pharma companies look down on it like it's all hokey? Are they the ones that have put that out there?
Oh, the mass advertising. There's like, if you go back historically, the stuff that was being put out there at the turn of I always get my centuries wrong, from the 1800s to the 1900s,
Yeah.
19th century, turn
the
of
20th century, yeah.
20.
One ahead.
The advertising that was out there, it was literally everywhere. They demonised literally everything that was natural.
Okay, so business models, yeah, if you're in high-end business, are overtake and destroy.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what they did. And I find it very interesting. I've been thinking about this a lot since I went to your talk the other day, right? You see, every morning, right, there are 7 pills in my hand.
Right.
Every morning.
Yeah.
Right? To combat, diabetes and blood pressure and God knows what. And then obviously at night time there's only 3.
But some of those tablets that you take, I don't know,
Yeah.
I haven't seen your prescription, are often they give you a medication, but then you have to take another one to combat any
for the
sort of
side
side
effects.
effects.
Yeah, oh yeah. So naproxen, for instance, if you're at long term that's an anti-inflammatory. But if you haven't got the stomach suppressor, it'll eat your stomach lining.
Yeah. So how on
that
earth
says a
are
lot,
these allowed to even get to market?
Because somebody paid somebody else.
Pseudoscience. This is the science again. Back to science. People were easily bought.
The world's a corrupt, horrible place.
No, it's a
It is,
beautiful
yeah.
place where you focus your energy.
That's true. Right.
It's all perspective.
Ah,
yeah.
perspective. Right. Let me talk. Let's talk about energy and vibrations.
Okay.
Right. You said something interesting about you can't overdose on these things. This isn't like, so it's completely different from pills, for instance.
Yes.
So you take a 10M, right? You're going to have to explain all this as well, because
That's all right.
So you've got different levels and strengths.
Potencies.
Can you explain
Yeah.
a little bit how it's measured?
So basically, the way homeopathy works, this is where it gets called woo-woo, and where
Right.
it becomes the so-called science says, oh, it's rubbish, there's nothing in it, it's just placebo.
Right.
Because the way they make, so you get like a paracetamol, it's got 500 milligrams of the substance, and
Yeah.
if you broke it in half,
Yeah.
you'd have 250 and a 250, yeah?
Yeah.
Because it's in a crude state.
Mm.
In homeopathy, you're looking at an energetic remedy,
Right.
where the energy's in the tablet. So even if you broke it in half, if you had a tablet this big or that big, you'd still get the same energy.
Okay.
It doesn't double or half if you break it. You still holds.
You
the
see, I'm
substance.
completely programmed by the pill things, right?
Yeah.
So if I take half a dose, I'm going to get half the goodness.
Yeah.
But in homeopathy, that's not the case.
No.
If you take
Right, so the way it's worked, I mean, it's still. I've got my belief in how it works, but it's still yet to be scientifically. If you
I'm
want,
interested in your
you-
belief and what
Okay.
you think.
So, have you come across the memory of water
No.
in your Dr. Emoto?
Nope.
EMOTO. Honestly,
Emoto.
Jim Lee, he will blow your mind.
Right.
He's an amazing. I think he's a Japanese doctor, physician, scientist, something. So basically, he's been working on a beautiful substance, water, and he talks lovingly. So he puts water in a petri dish, right, and he talks lovingly to it, right.
Mm-hmm.
Love you, compassion, gratitude, whatever you want to,
Yeah.
and then freezes the water straight away.
Okay.
Puts it in the freezer. Then he gets another petri dish and he literally spews hatred at it,
Okay.
right, and freezes it.
Yeah.
Under a microscope, the one that's been spoken to lovingly has got the most amazing geometric,
Ice crystals.
somatic
Yeah,
ice
this
crystals.
rings a bell now.
Just beautiful.
Right.
The other one is just shattered. There's no formation to it. So there is a memory in water. And did you know that each snowflake is like our fingerprint?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's different.
Everyone's different. And if you defrost, that's right, isn't it?
Yeah,
melt
defrost,
melt the ice, the snowflake, and it will go back to its.
So
there
it literally
has to
has
be
memory.
a memory. Yeah, and there was a French scientist back in the 70s. I don't know his name.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago I learnt him, and his research was really coming up with this memory of water. And weirdly, just as he was asking for funding and all that, it all got wiped out.
Hmm.
So way homeopathy tablets are made is you take one part of the substance from the mother tincture. So say like we've got arnica, it's from a plant. They put the whole plant, including the root, in a bottle of alcohol and they leave it for however long. I don't know, I'm not a pharmacist, but they leave it. And after a certain amount of time, you now have the mother tincture.
Right.
So when that is developed, you take one part of that and mix it with 99% water. So 1 parts to 99.
Mm.
And then from that, you dilute again, another
Right.
99, and then you dilute again.
Yeah.
So once you've done those three dilutes, you then start again, and you do 1 to 10, and you, in between each dilution, you bang the water,
Okay.
the substance.
Yeah.
So and the more you dilute, obviously more you go up. So we've got the 6 X's, meaning it's been diluted 6 times 100.
Yeah.
10, sorry, 6 times 10. The C is 100, and it's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But the higher you go, the stronger they become, because you're energising in between each dilution, and it is so hard to get your head round.
Yeah.
Because we're
dilution, by definition, is weakening.
It's weakening, yeah, but you're energising it.
Okay.
You're in between. It's the memory in the water, and the energy that you're putting into that. They used to do it all by hand, or bang on a Bible years ago.
Right.
If you go down to the pharmacy down in Kent, they've still got one of the original Bibles. It's huge, beautiful. Not that I'm a religious person,
just
but
to introduce a bit of Jeebus into it. Right. So, okay, energy.
and
energy.
we're 80% water.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Energy and vibrations. So, interesting concept. So the world vibrates at
So many hertz.
Yeah. 7 hertz. Sorry, I banged the microphone. I do that a lot. I'm completely ripping this off you, right? So say the world vibrates at 7 hertz, right? And then you're not feeling very well, right? So then, will you explain it? I don't, the hertz thing. So the
earth that we live on,
yeah,
has got a vibration like we do.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And a bit like our pH balance, like you keep it all nice and neutral and stuff, right? And all the good stuff, like gratitude, compassion, when you live in those, they've all got a hertz measurement as well.
Right.
And everyone used to believe that love was the highest vibration at 150 hertz,
Right.
right? And then when you go down below, say 7, you've got fear, anxiety, shame, guilt, all the really negative emotions.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're like 2, 3, 4 hertz. So if you're constantly living in those states
Yeah.
for a long time, you could potentially be... Look at the wording. Like, we used to go down with a cold, go down with the flu. You think, oh, I feel down.
Feeling
I'm like,
down, yeah.
I'm feeling down. It's all in the language. And all these, like, we used to, hippie woo-woo stuff, but I love it. Like, vibe high, man. It's because you will feel better when if you can... a lot of it's mindset.
Yeah.
And the world, I honestly really believe, is designed to try and keep you down. You look at that whole campaign in 2020, everyone was in fear and anxiety
Yeah.
for a long time,
Yeah.
and it was to keep you there.
Do you believe that lockdown was the right thing?
No,
Right.
absolutely no.
Okay, because also we're so used to... There's a reason why prison is punishment, right?
It's the term. Lockdown is a
Yeah.
term for prison, isn't
Well,
it?
yes. So, 8 o'clock, you're locked down, lights go out at 10, that's it, you're controlled. And that control is the punishment,
Yeah.
which is what a lot of people miss about it all. Okay, right, so you need to be in balance with the planet, so we need to be all at 7 to feel
At least 7.
at least 7 and above.
But the
Because if
minute-
we're above, so the mean is 7 and then above it
is
is where we get
where
different
you get a
things.
lot of your energy
So
and
that
power.
all fits in with the doing good thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I've said it before, feel the fear and do it anyway. Great self-motivational book. And at the end, it is all about you do good deeds, right?
Are you a life coach?
You do,
Oh.
no, but you do good deeds, and it's true, right? I do good stuff, and it makes you feel better.
It
It makes
does.
the
No,
other person
bloody
feel
right.
better.
Service
bloody
to
right.
other.
Pay it forward and all that stuff,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So that makes it practical,
Yeah.
whether you believe the vibration side of it or not.
Mm.
That vibration sort of
You
supports,
feel it.
Yeah, that supports it, right? So if you're nice to someone,
Yeah.
if we're all nice to each other, the world's a better place, right? It does sound a bit woo and a bit hippie, but it's true.
But that's sad that we have to think, oh, it sounds a bit weird. It's your own discernment.
It
If
all-
it makes you feel good,
Absolutely.
how can that be a bad thing?
It all ties together. The whole Buddhism thing of maintaining that level. Don't get too excited about the good stuff. Don't get too down about the down stuff. It's the same thing. It's maintaining a balance, isn't it?
Yeah, but
depending-
And living in the
there's
now.
Many ways
Yeah.
of explaining that.
So you can't, that the Buddhism lines, so you don't fall too hard and you don't jump too high, so you can stay in the middle. I get that. But then,
But it's deep rooted, isn't it?
you see that the way society works, right? There has to be some level of control in the eyes of politicians, right? Because chaos doesn't work, right? But you have so much control that then you get used to it. You're going to abuse that, right? It's just the way it works. So because humans are so self-serving, political ways, you can't tell me that all of the politicians in that little green seated room in Parliament, they're all there for other people and to protect our interests. You can't tell me that. Because in a room full of humans, that's just not going to happen, right?
Well, no.
So-
They should be made to wear shirts like our F1 drivers who's sponsoring them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Nicely said. I like that.
Sponsored by Pfizer. Sponsored by, I don't know, whatever the latest fear
Right,
crap is.
right.
Or am I
So
allowed to say that on it?
yeah,
Say
you
what you
can,
like.
you can say whatever you want. Right. So here's an actual fact from Pharma. Okay. So Pfizer made the
One of them.
yeah
Doodad
one of the
shit.
do badges. What are they called?
Don't say it.
No.
That will get you a ban on YouTube.
What will? Say that,
The
really?
V word, yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Anyway, they did one of those.
They're all like, it's like charades.
They're all like, "Shut up, Jim." I don't. Yeah, I do care, but not that much. So, okay, one of the V words, right? So they were then fined $2 billion, right, because it killed people. Yet the sad thing is they'd already made $5.5 billion. So therefore, $3.5 billion profit is
what they
the
call
cost of life.
risk
Yeah.
management.
But
Yeah.
prior
They
to
were-
that, they were
what?
still, if you look at it on Google or wherever, the highest amount of money ever paid to any legal case comes from Big Pharma.
Yeah.
But also,
in a single one, or
if you look at the history of Pfizer, it's been sued countless times for whether it be antidepressant. They've just got a massive history of putting bad stuff out there.
Do you know what they'll
they
say
don't,
though?
because what they make,
it's a knowledge risk.
It's irrelevant. It's like me saying, all right, okay, I'm going to give away a load of my remedies. It might cost me 200 quid.
Yeah.
But I might potentially get £2,000 worth of
Work from
clients from that, patients from that. Is it risk management? I don't know what they call it.
No, I mean it
but
is.
basically, that's how it works.
So also, I mean, you go to a doctor with our societal indoctrination, and he says you need to take this and this. How many people argue? Because I don't.
Well, you trust the doctor.
Yeah, which in America this is more prevalent. Because American doctors literally have pharmaceutical companies come in, I will pay you this much.
What you don't think ours do?
No, yeah, they do, but it's not as out and open. And also, there's no... Right, so we don't pay the NHS. Private medicine, I imagine it's right, isn't it?
Who do you think pays the NHS then,
Okay,
Jim?
but I mean, I don't put my hand in my pocket to pay them there and then. They don't have a till. Right, obviously.
Yes, of course. We get used to not paying for our health.
Yeah,
and that's the danger.
But obviously, we are paying for everything because everything we do is taxed 3 times on each pound that we have, which is boring. Okay,
I don't think there's an incentive then for them to give you that job.
I don't know.
I honestly, the doctors and nurses, you don't enter that. All right, maybe a lot of people want to go into that career because it pays well. I get that. It's if you go through all that studying and all that, but you don't enter that unless you really truly want to make a difference, isn't it? Like it's a good thing.
Yeah, you want to do good. You want to help people. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think what's happened now is that, like years ago, I remember our old doctor used to come round. Like, I remember my dad getting a bit of high blood pressure, and the first thing our doctor said to him was, "Right, what exercise do you do?
Yeah.
What are you eating? Drop 2 stone."
Yeah.
Before he'd even written out. And now some of the patients I hear come and see me, they don't even look at me. They sit down, they're either on the thingy. I've had people come in and go, I think it's this, and they go, what's your symptom? Oh yeah, here's your prescription.
Yeah.
It's that.
Try that. If it doesn't work, come back.
Where is the care? Where is the critical thinking from a doctor's point of view? Like, I have people go back to their doctor and say, oh, I feel amazing, I used a bit of homeopathy. Now, for me, if someone walked in and went, oh, I used, I don't know, a bit of herbal, I'd be really keen to know, so then I could advise someone else who might come in and think, oh, they might do well on that.
What I think what has taken away the humanity out of medicine, right, is that now, right, so in my GP, right, you have to fill out a form online, tell them what's wrong, and then a receptionist deems whether it's important enough to put through and get an appointment. They'll call it the administration team, but the administration team are the combative old bags that are rude to me on the phone, right?
I'd love to see what their interview tactics were to get one of those receptionists. Are you?
Are you customer focused?
Can you be a gatekeeper? Can you make sure that people do not get the help they need? Can you also be as rude as you can?
Yeah.
And the last time, right, and this is real, so I don't care about it, I phoned up to talk about I'd had a blood test and the doctor wanted to talk to me and sent me a text message, right? And said, you need to contact us for some urgency. So I phoned the surgery. And the woman said to me, well, yeah, but that's not how it works. And I said, I got a text message. It said to phone the doctors. What do you mean it doesn't work that way? She said, you have to go online. I said, I've done that. The doctor has sent me a text. So, no, the doctor didn't, we did. And I'm like, what? And in the end, my actual word was, why the fuck are you arguing with me about everything? And of course, I'd lost my temper. So immediately I'm in the wrong. Yeah. And she said, her exact words, I've been doing this 18 years. I don't get things wrong, and put the phone down. Now, I was completely in the wrong for losing my temper, right? I'll tell you that now. But I'm worried because I have a situation that is worrying about my health at that point. I'm fine, right? But in that moment, when I have been told to call a doctor's surgery, the gatekeeper on the front of it is saying to me, "You cannot pass." Fucking, what's his name? Gandalf with his stick.
He was a good bloke.
And the Balrog. Well, yeah, but he was stopping the bad woman. Yeah, he's a bit of a girl, wasn't he? What?
Gandalf the Grey.
Yeah, not Gandalf the...
It's more a bit like gatekeepers in Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters?
Do you remember Ghostbusters?
Yeah,
They had the gatekeepers in that. Do you remember when she turned into a dog?
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And they had that little bloke from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. He was a gatekeeper.
How the fuck do we get on a Ghostbusters? Excuse them, what? Right, okay. Where do you see homeopathy going? Where can it be? How do we get the message to people that look, there are natural remedies, and it won't hurt you in any way to try these things? Look, I'm pretty, normal as far as things go with the woo woo, and I don't believe in that. But after meeting you and being in that room with all of those people, and every time somebody mentioned placebo, they all just went, "Well, it's not a placebo if it works, is it?" Like, and really meant it, because they believe in you. And it is you, I hasten to add, right? Because, there were people in there who were talking about you, because I watched the room, man. I always have, right? And one woman in particular, I love Josie, she just knows it. And I just thought, do you know what?
Oh.
Someone to have that level of trust in you shows that what you do is A, believable, and B, credible. Because people are saying that they fed their babies when they had colic or something.
And fever, colic, all of that.
And they sorted it all out.
So that's where the placebo loses its power. If you're giving a little sugar tablet to a baby that's raging temperature or has got colic, and after 2 or 3 repetitions within half an hour, that baby stops crying and the fever's broken and they go back to sleep.
Well, that's coincidence, obviously.
Of course. Or you give it to your dog. You give it to your cats, your dogs, all animals. There's homeopathic vets out there that are giving it to the farming community in Ireland.
Yeah.
It's a huge homeopathic farming community in Ireland.
I didn't know that.
And there's a few people over here using remedies on their cattle.
I mean, I suppose
it's amazing.
It's natural, isn't it? This is the point. It's natural, so it's not.
And
toxic.
what it is, what you've got to get your head around, it's not. So say like we all had underactive thyroid, you take thyroxine from the doctor, which ups your level, which is great, but it's not encouraging the thyroid to get back into balance. So there's another drug that you have to stay on then forever, whereas in homeopathy and many of the, like I call traditional medicines, would get your body in balance again. So you don't need the meds. So you sign patients off, which is wonderful.
In society, take it. Obviously, it's about money, right? Obviously, right? But have we lost the ability to actually find something that helps? Because medicine is supposed to be about healing, not maintaining.
Yeah.
So, for diabetes...
it's illegal for me to use the word healing.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah. No. There's strict laws in place for anyone to even pharmaceutical... And guess who makes the laws?
Yeah,
Pharmaceutical
company.
So I'm not... When I do any sort of promotional work, I'm really limited to the wording that I can use.
Right, so what happens... Right.
It's like people experience an amazing sense of well-being.
Yeah, you can't say I healed them.
Yeah.
You're healed.
Because I haven't healed them. That's the lovely thing. Someone was trying to call me a healer on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I'm not the healer.
Right, the substance is the healer?
No, because they're the catalyst. You're the healer.
Oh, I like that.
You're the healer. Everyone's a healer. Your body is healing you constantly. You don't... That's why I'm a bit anti all the tests. Because your body just might be in a bit of a rut the time that test is taken. But meanwhile, they put you on high blood pressure. Do they ever go back do you ever check it 3-4 times a month to see where you're at?
There's no need there, is it, if you carry on taking the tablets?
Keep the tablets, it's maintaining it. But you might not need them then. It's just really... It's such a minefield, and it's really quite dark.
Yeah.
Well,
I think if you have lost the ability to cure... I mean, listen, it's evolved from
so basically the remedies and everything you take is the catalyst to cure.
And you cure
and it's
yourself.
Your baby. So it's your body, your baby.
It's your baby, you rock it.
Baby. Yeah. You're the healer with the right tools.
Okay.
And that can be your mindset. And that's why I love homeopathy, because it addresses the mental and emotional side of someone, not just the physical symptoms.
So, yeah, that's the thing, that it's all, everything, the whole body, the whole being.
Yeah.
Rather than concentrating on one thing.
And half the problem is mindset sometimes. If you can get someone in a better mindset, so if there's a big grief layer, someone's never been well since their dad died, or they lost their job. There's various reasons, divorce and, you know, tragedy. Even when you lose a pet, it can break your heart. Or your first boyfriend chucks you, or your first girlfriend sleeps with your best mate. Sometimes you are stuck there.
I'll be honest, I was quite pleased when that happened. Sorry. I think you're right. I think there's the trauma layer. And I mean, obviously, you know, I don't want to make it all about me, but the other day I noticed, right, I was in a horrible rut. I had bad stomach and I felt miserable and I was completely in the dumps, like didn't want to be anywhere near anything. And then I had a conversation with someone, I think it was you, on a message, because you reached out, is everything all right? And I thought, oh, that's cool. And then I kind of climbed up, and Laura messaged me about being the trustee in the Phoenix charity and all of that. And I thought, oh, okay, that's not so bad, let's just get on with it. Right, then the bad stomach stopped. And then the misery stopped, and then I just got on with it. I mean, as a human being, we have a propensity for misery because, you know, you're tired, you know, you're hungry.
Well, your vibe's low.
Yeah, your vibe's low. I like.
It's why important to reach out to people, right? Just that little message. I mean, that's beautiful to hear that. You know, to have.
Well, it's
just
true.
That
someone
thing,
cares.
someone cares about you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why there's such a problem with loneliness and all the stuff.
That's why you're doing. It's wonderful.
Coffee and coping and stuff.
Well, yeah, and
it's a lack of connection. Like comes back to what we've said before: lack of connection, lack of community,
lack of lack of a stimulus to communicate to people as well now because of these things. Yeah, and the interweb and all of that. Now, I mean, everyone. I got criticised the other day. Well, you're always criticising all the information and everything and the internet, but yet you do these online shows, and I'm like, well. No, I'm not criticising the internet. What I am criticising is the ability for someone to read something on Facebook and take it as truth and not look into the whole scene, right? You know, Tommy Robinson, okay? And on that, I mean, I'm only bringing him up because I watched something by mistake. And he is furious about all of these things that are fighting, you know, with the immigrants and this and that. Now, you know, what he's saying, if you take it at face value, right, is true to a certain amount, right? But when you look into that, so you're blaming all of our problems on immigrants and race and colour and religion. That's not the impetus. If you happen to be a Muslim fundamentalist who's been indoctrinated into that, right, you've got a life of hate. Right, that's fine. But if you're a Muslim who goes to the mosque or the temple, is it mosque? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So you go to the mosque and you do your prayers and you come out and that community helps you. That's a beautiful thing. So it's not, you can't blanket everything with hate. Human beings react really well to someone being angry about something. Because if I'm angry about something, it means something. And therefore you have to believe me. Once it becomes the Human Torch effect, where one person is shining brighter than everybody else, they're going to get followers. It's how Jim Jones managed to get 450 and then another 550 people to drink Kool-Aid with poison in it. Because they believed so strongly in him. And he was rude, arrogant twat who hated everybody. You know, but he had a religion. He moved people from America to Guyana. You know, everything's linked, by the way. Right, so the cult show we did is linked to this by want of ranting politicians and other people. In the world we live in, it is set up just for us to be negative.
Massively.
So we pull ourselves back a little bit, right? Have a little look.
When you understand how the world has been set up, because now we've got from the research I have, people are now in position, they've been placed.
Right.
To be highly influential. We should never have these influencers who can literally, as celebrities during that, whether we took the thingy or we didn't, my thing, it looked really sinister. They were getting high influential people to literally shout hatred at people because they dared to question anything.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you are looking at a world where people have got idols, celebrities, stars, and they're highly influential. So if Rod Stewart's telling you you're a murderer if you don't get it done, you're scum, and people love Rod Stewart, yeah, they're scum. That's what happens.
No, I get that. Influences. I mean, if you look
We're not allowed to sit back and go, actually, I want to use my own discernment here.
But do you know why that is, though? Because people have lost their ability to discern.
We've done it. We've handed over responsibility for literally, it's someone else's responsibility. I often see little posts on the Facebook group. Oh, who's responsible for trimming the bushes on that little walk? And I just think, how hard would it be to go with a little couple of bits of... If you take your dog that day, every day, just take some secateurs, have a little trim every time you go past. We used to do it when I used to have my little dog. You know what I mean? It's just... Or, like, my sister brought it to attention, and when we had the snow, we didn't have snow this Christmas, did we? When did we have the snow last?
2 years ago.
But I remember as a kid, my mum goes, right, you're not going out to play until you've cleared the front path. Because people used to walk everywhere.
Yeah.
So everyone was responsible for the little path
Yeah.
outside their
That's interesting, isn't
front house. And so you know that the old people, if they need to walk down the shop,
it? They could all get...
or you'd all sprinkle salt out.
I think this comes back to loss of community again.
Yeah, definitely.
There is, right, so, and I've said this 100 times, growing up in Somerset, in a little village where there was nobody, apart from who there was, right, and that'll become what I mean in a minute. So we all walked in and out of each other's houses. I mean, we really did. You know, and I said, Vera, she used to come into our kitchen, take something that she needed, shout to my mum, bring it back on Friday, we'd be at the shop, and my mum would be like, yeah, whatever. And
All the doors were open.
Yeah, and it wasn't even... I mean, obviously, if it was something above sugar or coffee or whatever, but can I borrow the steak out of your fridge? Do you know what I mean? And not that we ever had.
Borrowed the goldfish, is that right?
Yeah, I'm just going to take the dog.
Taking your husband.
Yeah, well,
She'd be like, don't bring him back.
Yeah,
she would have been there. Yeah, don't
Bring me
that
another
back.
one.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you know, it was open door policy. Now, I mean, all right, I live in Welling Garden City now, but I still live in a what do you call that? Where it's a round
Close.
Estates?
No, I just like it, the whole.
Close.
I don't know. Look, I live on a ring road, right, of houses. So it's, you know, it's a circle. I keep doing that.
Like
right?
a horseshoe.
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
thing.
like that. So it's enclosed. It's got one. What's
A
cul-de-sac?
Cul-de-sac.
That'll do.
Oh,
It's not a cul-de-sac,
glad
though, is
we've
it?
got someone on the
God,
ball.
do you know what, George? Without you, I would never formulate sentences. It's bloody true. Right, so, but I know the old man who lives next to me because he fell over drunk and smashed his face once, so we had to pick him up, patch him up. My wife's a veterinary nurse, so she sorted that out. And then, you know, I know the woman next door because she complains about everything. You know, oh, your tree is... And I said, hold on, it's not my house. Go and talk to someone who cares about the tree. It's a health hazard having catkins falling on my garden, she said. Health hazard, yes.
Yeah, that's someone
Yeah.
else's. That's someone else's
Low-flying
responsibility.
Yes, well, you need to see the council about the chainsaw.
But it has been happening. It's like a drip feed. It's if they'd had gone from, say, the 70s to now in one overnight swoop, like this is how we lived in the 70s, to how how alone we are now.
There would be massive.
There would be.
fight
It's a
backs.
bit like they call it the boiling frog scenario, don't they? Where if you put a frog in cold water and gently heat it,
It won't get out.
it hasn't got a clue what's going on.
No.
If you threw him in hot water, he'd do his damnedest to try and like get out.
Yeah, and drip
So
feeding
over
bit
the
by
years,
bit.
and that's what happens. And at the moment where I'm at as well, they keep nudging us with less and less freedom. They're bringing in more and more surveillance, more and more this, and it's all, and because it's drip, 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 people aren't aware of it.
No.
But if you sit back and think, where is this leading? You know, what is happening? I mean, if I Google homeopathy,
Yeah.
it will tell you bad, bad, bad. It's rubbish. It literally, and that's Google, because Google is part of the club that
Yeah.
the pharmaceuticals
Big
are
business.
involved in. They're all linked. It's actually really. If you go, it's like two companies that own literally everything. There's
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, do that.
It's a really brilliant documentary. It's only about an hour. Talk about eye opener.
Yeah, I'd like to see
It's
that.
called Monopoly.
Yeah. No, you see, it's so difficult to find the truth about anything because everything is smoke and mirrors. Okay, you know, we've got the reason, you know, that things are happening in a violent fashion right now is because people don't know how to communicate. Because you talk to your local MP about your worries, they even if they're on, there's nothing they can do, right? They don't usually listen. They'll send you a letter with a House of Commons headed notepaper saying, yes, we're on it. But who do you complain to when you feel like you've been crossed? Who do you talk to when you need to change things because the community feels like this? Russell Brand, love him or hate him, and I don't like him very much, but his one good deed was to bring back community. And he said, one person can't do anything, but 100 people who feel the same can do something. I didn't really want to bring up Russell Brand. He just popped into my head, but it's the one good thing he did. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. Look, we have to end, believe it or not, because we're way over time already.
Really?
Yeah, it goes quick.
Right. Go quick.
Well, I'm going to ask you here now. Will you come back and we talk about conspiracy
I'd love to.
or just theories? Yeah. Thank you, Josie.
Just general chat. It's been amazing. I can't believe it's been.
Yeah. Well, it's mad, isn't it? Right.
Yeah, mad.
Have you got a website or how do you communicate with you if people want to get in touch?
And my website is sumdea.co.uk. Sumdea.co.uk.
Right, so what we'll do is we'll put that in
and I'm only in Capel Lane.
In Capel Lane,
yeah, that's where my
Levis.
practice is, yeah.
Right, so we will put that in the doobly-doo underneath, right?
Description.
And write it up. Yeah, it's interesting, right? And you might think, how have you gone from all these tangents? I'll tell you why, it's the same thing, right? In summation, you know, these do good things, and I'm pointing at a list of homeopathic remedies, right? So these do good things. People, I've not done it myself, but in that room where you gave that talk, people were talking about how it had done this and done that, and they were excited about it. Now, if you've got excitement because things are working, that's an amazing thing. If you've got a dystopian society, which sadly we live in these days, that are telling you that it's not real and it's hoo-ha and it's this and it's that.
Can I just add before we finish? Right, so nature holds everything, and we're so far away from who we truly are.
That's a beautiful way, yeah.
Right, yeah. Truly, we have been moved away from using our own discernment, trusting ourselves, our gut feelings, our intuition. Our children are born innately with those skills.
Yeah.
And through various educations, we don't encourage that. Now, once you get that and you start to teach yourself to be listening to that inner voice. How many times have you been in a situation where it's almost screaming at you and you ignore it?
Yeah.
And then 2 years down the line you think, oh, why didn't I listen?
Why didn't I listen to myself?
Right, so we've all got that in us, but it's not encouraged and we lose touch with it. But once you decide, actually, I'm going to get back in touch with... Once you listen to things, when you sit on the outside looking in and you're saying about, I want to find out what the truth is, I can listen to things and go...
Oh, it's a big bang, sorry.
It's that mood over there as well.
Yeah, the window's open.
I thought it was some weird... like.
It is a ghost as well, but...
Yeah, that's great.
It is
once you start to get back in tune with what... on this energy level, I can watch something and go, it's interesting, not feeling it. I haven't dismissed it, but then I can watch something else and all of a sudden
you get goosebumps.
And I think
I'll tell you what, that's an important message to
and
them.
there's something to do with hair.
What?
We can talk about that another time.
Oh, you leave them on a cliffhanger. Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
When you need to find out the truth of things, revert to self. How do you feel about it? How does it make you feel? Can you find a way through and a way to cope with your own intuition and your own thoughts that are not overly influenced by anyone else? That's probably the most important message from the whole of today. Thank you, Josie.
No, honestly, it's been amazing. Thanks, guys.
We'll see you next time.